In her series, The Long War, Juju has shown us today's Korea, a technical innovator and economic powerhouse. But it is also the center of a long and bitter conflict that the U.S. entered 60 years ago with the Korean War. Now she introduces us to two men who are part of that history, and one of them is very close to you, Juju.
This is a very personal story, Elizabeth, absolutely. I'm personally in awe of the two men you are about to meet. They are the tail end of the greatest generation. Nearly 500,000 American men and women fought in the Korean War, a staggering figure. 37,000 died there. And on this 60th anniversary, we're paying tribute to their bravery, which helped win the Cold War, change the course of history, and my family.
You just went out and did the job you had to do.
Whatever they ask me to do to protect this country and protect our freedoms, I'll be there. And that's the way I felt once I put that uniform on.
They are the veterans who fought 6 decades ago. 480,000 U.S. soldiers deployed to a country many of them had never heard of.
And the major thing in the infantry is to overcome fear. And that's not easy.
To fight what is still called the Forgotten War.
There was no one waiting for you, no parades or no welcome.
I teased my Vietnam War friends by saying, hey, when you came home, they spit at you, they knew you were there. He said, when I came home, people said, where you been?
Richard Halferty, a Missouri college student, felt called to duty. His only brother was killed in the early days of the war, and as a sole survivor, Richard had the choice not to go. So why did you choose to fight anyway, when you didn't have to?
Au contraire, I had to. Because if what he did was right, then it would be wrong if I didn't. Simple as that. If your country calls, you go. And you do the honorable thing.
In Seoul, as an honored guest of the Korean government, a naval captain who fought with honor on a U.S. destroyer. He came here to revisit the land where his brother's blood was shed, to pay tribute at the Korean War Memorial, where the names of a fellow Boy Scout or his football teammates are etched in history.
But that's him.
Van Lee Halferty.
And a lot of good friends.
His young cousin, Lieutenant Colonel Mark Halferty, is currently serving in Korea on active duty. For my Korean-American family, meeting the Halfertys was a chance to say thanks.
Nice to meet you. Can I give you a hug?
My journey to the city where I was born is also part homecoming. For my family, traveling to Korea means reconnecting with family members who stayed behind. My 91-year-old great-uncle is the oldest surviving member of my family. My grandfather was captured during the Korean War and never seen again. My great-uncle is my family's esteemed elder. I'd always known he'd had a distinguished career as a diplomat, a high-ranking cabinet officer. But what I never knew until this trip was that he was a fighter pilot, one of just 10 Koreans who flew American P-51s in the Korean War. 8 of the 10 were shot down in combat. My great-uncle survived. A Korean War hero, much like the American soldier I'd come to know.
Captain Halferty, I want you to meet.
Introducing these two veterans was a personal honor.
For me, it is really a moving thing. To be here with someone who served at the time when my brother was here. Many of my friends fell, as many of your friends fell. But we lived, and we are here to share memories and the good times. And so I'm really honored.
Sitting with my family, we listened as 2 old soldiers did what aging soldiers do. They told war stories.
Troops were on the line, and they would come in over the line and fire to give support to the troops.
Enemy coming down, refugees together coming down, so we must recognize which is which.
Yes.
But I think we did all right.
When old soldiers meet, it is a time of joy.
We never forget the old friends during the Korean War.
Their selfless call to duty has allowed South Korea to flourish economically since the war, something that Captain Halferty notices walking the streets of Seoul.
The Korean people took our blood and used it to a good purpose. Korea has made our sacrifice meaningful.
After Captain Halferty receives a final hero salute,
Hi!
my family offers another embrace, a salute to our soldier. Two brave veterans of a fading generation that must not be forgotten.
Now, Captain Halferty told me that when he traveled with a group of veterans, many of them had never shared their battlefield stories. They'd bottled them up for 60 years. And I can tell you that everyone in my family had their jaw open as my great-uncle was describing those bombing runs. It was
what an amazing thing. And you didn't even know that until this trip.
We had no idea. It was incredibly
wow,
profound.
To hear Captain Halferty describe when he came home from the Korean War and others, people saying, where have you been?
Right.
Really is striking.
And Colin Powell was recently quoted as saying it shouldn't be the forgotten war, it should be the forgotten victory, which is a lovely, end point.
What a great report, Juju. Thank you so much.
My
it
pleasure.
was really incredible. And you can go to abcnews.com/GMA to check out more video of Juju's trip to South Korea.